I'm more than an okay person. I go above and beyond to try to help people out. And there's like two homeless people, a guy and a girl. I consider them family, like brother and sister. There's nothing that I can do for them at all. I have to help out myself. If I'm not helped out, there's no way I can help anyone else. Just like I could never ever help out my children. I wasn't helped out. I didn't have a place to live. How am I supposed to help out my children? And there's a really sick predator that used to be in my life. And that is pretend a lot narcissist. And the sickest thing, like, it really is heartbreaking to me that I didn't know he was a child molester when my kids were small. And I didn't have a babysitter, and that's just the way it is around, child molested to death, victim like me. I have no support but an insane, horrifying predator like pretend a lot narcissist there to sexually harm my boys when I went to the bathroom, New Year's Eve, when I went to see the professional. But it disgusts me that this predator, pretend a lot narcissist, is around and he harmed my kids when they were real small. Because that's just how sick he is. He's a super sicko. You are sick. He is just disgusting. Like, ew. He decided to rape out. These predators are insanely scheming, and they calculate everything. So you can't tell me that they don't know what they are doing. He knew exactly what he was doing when he calculated me as an adult, saying that I raped Alex. See, that killed me because I love my children. That worse than a mind fuck. Yeah, worse than the worst thing that you could do to me. Him saying that I raped my children. Why? You did, and that's because he did. That's because he had access when my kids were small. I had no idea he was a child. What am I supposed to do? I had no protection ever in my life. Except a tiny bit now, but, seriously. Susan Chappelle, in 2010, late Susan Chappelle was a protector. Certainly not insane, pretend a lot narcissist. Always out there to pretend how good he is when he was the sickest. For him to, so I first saw him for the first 3 years, did not know he was a child molester. Then he calculates years and years later to attack me that I raped my children. And that's scheming, that's calculating. That's his 2 cents at work. But psychopaths are smart. That would kill my spirit to say that I harmed my children that way. And I could never do that. And that breaks me down. His spirit, his death, Satan's spirit already knows this. That's why he said that I raped my children as much as he did, which was all the time. When I got back from Delaware, 2021, he wouldn't stop. He would not stop. Well, 2020, he started. And, he's the biggest nightmare in my life. Just a horrifying psychopath. Not there at all. Didn't drive me anywhere. He drove where he wanted to go. He did what he wanted to do. I had no say of, the worst Thanksgiving I ever had, 2020. I had no say about that. He's a joke. Going and telling his stupid church, oh, I did everything for her. Well, if that were true at all, which it was not, he would have done something. He would have made me maybe an egg for Thanksgiving. Okay? Like it's Thanksgiving Day. I'm talking about the entire day. All right. He would have made me a damn egg. Okay? Like that would have been whatever, something. Which he never did. He never fed me every day like he goes and tells his church. Because if that were true, then he would have fed me Thanksgiving, right? Like, oh, that's supposed to be a big event and shit. Nah. He ate the damn church meal that had the bone in it. And he had to complain for hours and hours and hours and hours about the bone that choked him to death. Oh, the bone's choking me. I got bone in my meal. It choked me to death. It's just awful. And my kid, maybe I'm able to see my kids that Thanksgiving 2020. He had to follow me. He had to stalk me. That predator had to follow me in 2020. All the way. If my kid was even going to come out. What a horrifying predator. Stopping me from greeting a family in the street. How horrifying can you get? I'm not even allowed to say Happy Thanksgiving. What a horrifying predator that pretend a lot narcissist was to me. 2020 was the worst. I mean, living with my dead husband, that was really bad. But he knew all about it. He knew my dead husband isolated me. What'd he do to me? Isolate me. Kathleen Zawinski is a witness to both of those men isolating me to death. I wasn't allowed to see Kathy for over a month and a half. Maybe at the end of he made me go crazy. And he knew it. He knows how awful of a person he is. Because he actually told me when my kids were small, so this is like 2000. You don't understand how much people hate me. Yeah, I know now. I know now. I just thought he was a weirdo. That's all. He was abused to death, and I just thought, oh, okay. He doesn't love himself, he's just a weirdo. That's all I thought when I first met him. Didn't know how awful he really was. People hate me. You don't understand how much they hate me. I got beaten up like a bloody pup. People hate me. They hate me. They hate me. And I'm like, well, that's mean. There's nothing to hate about little pretend-a-lot narcissists. A harmless little old horrifying little old man. There's nothing bad about him. This was way back in 2000. I had no idea how awful he really was. Talking behind my back the whole time that I'm a child molester. Oh my God, and that's what he is. Talking behind my back the entire time that you know me. 1999, 2000, 2001. 2002 is when I met late Theodore Carl Samuelin. When I met late Theodore Carl Samuelin, pretend-a-lot narcissist is out of my life. I couldn't stand it. Of course I couldn't stand it. I didn't know why I couldn't stand him. It's because in the spiritual realm, he backstabbed me all the time. Oh, I can't believe that you still keep her around her children when she's a child molester. That's all pretend-a-lot narcissist was. So any children that he's around, he could easily have child molested them. I mean, it only takes them a small amount of time. He loves bathrooms, and he loved Richard Roberts Convention Center. I took my boys there to be healed from child molestation, and he noticed a kid being raped child molested in the bathroom. I'm like, what? This is like days later, and he says this shit to me. Yeah, there was a kid that was child molested at the Richard Roberts Convention Center. Oral Roberts' son. Oral Roberts, his name is Richard. The nickname to that is Dick. Okay. Okay, they are perverted with teaching what they want to about my Jesus, so I said something perverted, but you know what? I'm not supposed to be doing that. I'm not supposed to joke with low-life things. That's a low-life, scum of the earth. I'm supposed to be above pretending a lot narcissist, not giving out bad jokes. So the joke I just said about Earl Roberts, that's bad. Okay? It is. It's not for me to say that, because I'm trying to be godly. Certainly, Pretend a Lot Narcissist was never, ever godly in my life. He was the biggest torturer, one of the worst torturers I ever had. He loved my husband beating up on me. My husband beat me up in 2020, so he screamed at me to death and saying I deserved it and he would have beaten me up worse. I mean, this is the shit. I mean, he's Satan. I mean, I'm dealing with Satan, you know. The end of 2020, I was dealing with Satan. Pretend a Lot Narcissist. He's awful. And whatever, I shared that letter. I was even gonna, like, give him that letter. Like, why would I bother wasting, like, whatever the stamps are now, 65 cents. I just put it on here and he'll see it within the hour. And I'm sure, you know, his God that he helps out will show him. Oh, look what she said again. What do you mean? All I said is the truth. I cannot say one good thing about Pretend a Lot Narcissist at all. He harmed my children when they were little, and that's heartbreaking to me. But my God on the cross can take away all that pain. Yeah, I'm a real mom. I care if my kids were harmed. And that's like the worst thing that happened to me, and I didn't want it to happen to them. And I'm crying inside, actually. And yeah, that Pretend a Lot Narcissist, I would have to say, is almost my worst abuser, but my husband was when I was forced to live with him for 5 months. And I couldn't talk to anybody but girls on the phone, and he actually through my phone broke it because I was talking to girls on Facebook of how awful my life was. And I wasn't allowed to have, and then I went and I had this was the deep of COVID. I was allowed to talk to my counselor on the phone, so I talked to my counselor outside in the parking lot at the Four Seasons. I mean, he watched every move I made. I wasn't allowed to talk to a neighbor. I mean, it's awful. And the same thing with Pretend a Lot Narcissist. He targeted me, just like my dead husband. Just, you know, I wasn't allowed to greet that family Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving. What? I was not allowed to greet that family. Oh my God. He walks 1 block away. What do you think you're doing? You really think that they wanted you to greet? You don't know them. What's wrong with you? Evil. Pretend a Lot Narcissist was totally evil to me.